In the autumn of 1935, as Italian columns poured across Ethiopia's northern frontier from Eritrea, the young emperor, then Ras Tafari Makone, watched an ancient, independent African empire become the target of Benito Mussolini's fascist crusade to build a new Roman empire. This is the true story of how diplomacy, greed, and appeasement conspired to crush collective security. Italy's invasion, launched on October 3, 1935, pitted modern mechanized forces, bombers, and poison gas supplied by Mussolini's regime against Ethiopian warriors who still rode on horseback and fought with rifles and spears. Italy's air force struck villages and hospitals. Mustard gas was used repeatedly. The League of Nations, the fragile post-World War I experiment in collective security, declared Italy the aggressor and imposed limited sanctions, but crucial loopholes remained. Oil, the single commodity that could have paralyzed Mussolini's war machine, was not embargoed. Enforcement was weak.
Honorable members, we must address this matter with the urgency it demands. The future of our nation depends on it.
Even worse was the secret diplomacy that followed. Behind closed doors, Britain and France, preoccupied with Hitler's Germany and desperate to keep Mussolini from allying with Berlin, drafted what would become the infamous Hoare-Laval Pact. In December 1935, British Foreign Secretary Samuel Hoare and French Premier Pierre Laval proposed to partition Ethiopia, offering Mussolini control of the richest provinces in exchange for an end to the fighting. The pact would have rewarded conquest and erased Ethiopian sovereignty.
The partition of Abyssinia is
confirmed. When news of the plan leaked, it sparked public outrage that forced Hoare's resignation and the pact's abandonment. But the damage was irrevocable. The leading democracies had shown they were willing to betray principle for short-term stability. For Haile Selassie, the betrayal was personal and stark. He left his embattled capital, and on June 30th, 1936, he arrived at the League of Nations in Geneva to make a plea that was both prophetic and devastating. He stood before the assembly and in measured, resonant words accused the world of failing a small nation that had appealed to collective law. "It is us today," he warned. "It will be you tomorrow." The speech became a moral indictment of appeasement, but it did not bring immediate relief. The League's sanctions were half-hearted. Arms and supplies still reached Italy through indirect channels. International law had few teeth. Exiled to Bath in England, Haile Selassie became the living symbol of a deceived people. Meanwhile, guerrilla resistance inside Ethiopia persisted. Ras Imre and other patriots waged a stubborn, uneven warfare against occupation, keeping alive the hope of liberation. The wider geopolitical tide only turned with the outbreak of World War II.
The enemy is moving through this pass.
Italy's alignment with Hitler and its overextended colonial commitments provided Britain and Ethiopian patriots
limited measures are now in effect.
In 1940-41, British forces, alongside Ethiopian irregulars and Haile Selassie's own returning emissaries, mounted the East African Campaign. By May 1941,
the enemy is advancing here. We must flank them. Understood. Opposition in reserves. Good. Signal when ready.
The story's conspiracy, the quiet collusion of democracies to placate fascism, left a lasting stain. The Hoare-Laval episode and the League's impotence revealed that power politics outweighed principles whenever empires feared destabilization. For Haile Selassie, the wounds were deep, towns razed, tens of thousands killed, and sovereignty violated in plain sight of the international community. Yet this true-life history also tells of resilience. Haile Selassie's exile and return transformed him into a symbol of anti-colonial aspiration across Africa and the world. The betrayal at Geneva became a lesson.
Limited measures are now in effect.
Institutions without will can be instruments of hypocrisy. Small nations can be sacrificed when great powers bargain. The fall and resurrection of
interrupt with
Ethiopia
urgent
between
news.
1935 and
military actions and rising
1941
tensions.
remain a dramatic,
flank is still
painful
vulnerable.
chapter in the
Agreed, we
continent's
must reinforce
20th
it
century
immediately.
struggle.
Troops can be there
an
by dawn.
episode where courage met
pass is clear.
conspiracy,
Advance now.
and where the
Understood.
moral
I'll signal the
language
tanks.
of
Go with
international
speed,
law
no delays. They're
failed
almost here.
until force
The
and
pass is clear.
persistence
Advance now.
forced a
Understood.
measure
I'll
of
signal the
justice.
tanks.